So we were adding on to the barn addition, and sales increased from the barn addition, and so on and so forth. How did you pay for that, by the way?
A loan.
Oh,
Big
a loan? Yeah.
Went to the bank, we wanted a loan. We went to a couple banks. I went to the bank that we were dealing with, and they didn't think they could do that. Your father came back and I said, "What do you mean they didn't do it? I've been dealing with them." Oh, I said, "Well, there's more than one bank in town. Let's go to a couple others." So he went to just 3 others, and they were all chomping at the bit. And then this one bank, can't think of the name of it right now, but anyway, we knew the guy from Northampton Country Club. And he came, saw what we had, we gave him all the figures. He came to the house. Some of us were sitting at the dining room table at the old house. And he said, "I'm going to give you this money." He said, "You know why?" I said, "No, why?" He said, "I've talked to a lot of people. They want to add on, they want to do this for their business and that." He said, "They're all telling me they're doing it because they want it for their kids. Want to leave something to their kids." He said, "You never said that." And he said, "I always feel that's the wrong way to do it because most of the time kids don't even want to be bothered with the business." He said, "You're doing it because you like your business, you love the business, you're enthused about the business. And you made the comment, you wanted to take this business to the next step. You both felt there was another thing that you could do with it, the other thing you could show people what was possible with this beautiful building and building you had, and go on with another building." And he said, "So I'm going to give you the money." "Thank you, Jerry." Very nice man. And so it was, and off it went. We built a new addition, and there was a lot of buzz and excitement.
At what point did you realize you wanted to get out? You were just tired?
Oh, I'd say probably about 2005. So the salesmen were coming, and I was looking at stuff for Christmas and Christmas cards that we'd go to New York, and it was like, we've seen this. This is the same stuff we've seen before. It got harder and harder to find things that were new and different and get excited about. Before, first 10 years when we'd go to shows, and of course we always took some of the elves with us to different shows, but we'd come back and all the girls would be waiting in the bar, "What'd you see new?" They were all excited. They wanted to hear, and we'd be excited. "Oh, we saw this, and when do you see this? And we have this come and that." And it just got to be harder and harder. But part of that to be understood. I mean, we were there over 25 years. We've been going to shows. We've done Christmas. There's just so much you can do with a Christmas tree and Christmas balls and red, green, and white. The same thing with the gift business. And the funny part was that one of the hot items that we had when we first started a business, 20-some years later, we were seeing again, and they were beating it up, and we said, "We had that. We've been there. We've done that." So that's the part of it, to be able to have that enthusiasm. We always said that when it got to the point that it wasn't fun to go to a gift show, and it got to be work and something we had to do, then it was time to get out. That was our motto from the beginning.
So you felt that around 2005?
Yeah, and I got that way, and it was like having to come up with one more newspaper ad, because I did all the newspaper ads. I did all the TV ads. I made up all the schedules. I did the nitty-gritty stuff inside. Your father took care of paying the bills and getting the furniture delivered and that stuff. But I was doing all the little things. It was getting the order in for the boxes, getting the order for the tissue paper, getting all the supplies together. So I just got to be like, and even though I had wonderful help, we had fantastic help. You don't have a real retail establishment, and you have to go long and far to find a place where you keep a basic staff of 20, even though we had more than that, on your payroll for 16 and 18 years, and they stay with you. retail, that was unheard of. Salesmen would come in and say, you don't know, you don't see the same people in stores, So it was continuity, it was a family, it was this. They enjoyed it, they loved it, they were proud to be part of it. That was part of it. We'd take them to the shows. Not all of them liked to go to all the shows. New York for some of them was scary. They didn't want to go to New York. Go to Atlanta was overwhelming. They were happy to go to Philadelphia. We'd take 8 or 10 to Philadelphia for the day, go for the whole day. Look for certain city. Halfway through the show, we'd always meet and have lunch. Okay, what's the neatest thing you saw? They always used to joke with Frank about it, because he'd say, "What's the neatest thing you saw in there?" "Oh, I saw this. I saw." "Well, what do you think of that? You think we can sell it? What kind of price can we sell it? Blah 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 blah." "All right, take us and show it. Show me what you saw. Show me what you found." It was happening. We all did that. Okay, we'd let them go by. We'd go place the order. We didn't. Most people have stores wouldn't trust their employees. Well, I have to place the order. You go place the order. You have it come in. We usually gave them a time stamp when we thought they ought to get it in, but. So they did that. We'd do the whole show. We'd be done. And then we'd go some really nice place for dinner and drinks. And then we'd talk about what was the neatest thing to show. What are you excited about having, So it was happening. It was fun. And they were all part of it. And they were proud of it. And we said if they bought it, you'd all go sure they were going to sell it. Because they didn't want the thing to be sitting there on the counter. Or it was the thing that had to get discounted.
Because they felt they were vested in it.
They were. They were proud of where they were. They were proud of what they. So that was the true meaning of our success. We also paid them very well. When we'd go once a year, with John Levin, you have to cut down the payroll. You're paying people $14, $16, $18 an hour. You didn't pay that in retail. Hell's bells, they were paying $5.50, $6.50. $7 an hour, and we were paying them more than that. Plus, we were giving them their discounts. Plus, we were taking them on trips. Plus, every time it was somebody's birthday, we were having champagne and cake and balloons and who knows what.
But you weren't hurting.
No, we weren't hurting, and that's what we used to say to John. This is our form of advertising. And you say, yeah, but that's another thing. Your advertising is over the top. Well, probably it is, but people know us. But they were our best form of advertising. They each had their own little fan club. They had the customer who they hovered over. They knew Mrs. Jones and how's that new baby, grandbaby, and where's your daughter now? And what? People loved it. And that's what made us. They made us.
So I'm trying to remember. You bought the business in 89?
No, we bought the business in 79.
Sorry, 79. So, by 2005, you had been doing it on more than 25 years. So, that's a long time.
That's a long time. And to be involved in it every day, we built the new house in 2000 and moved from living right beside the business at that point. But we weren't that far away, 4 blocks away we went. But we were there around the clock every day. Even if I'd say I wasn't really working, the intercom would go on, Sally, we can't find the price for this. Somebody wants to know, can we get 65 more of these? And there's somebody that really likes this thing here and it has a scratch on it. Can I really knock it down more? We always used to tell them, we have free reign to say if you want to sell it. If you think we can sell it, sell it. But sometimes, the customers give them a hard time. Go ahead, sell it. So you were always on call. You were involved. But again, that's another reason why you accept it. You can't have a business if you're a mom and pop deal and hire somebody to be the manager and have them stand behind the counter and you're going to go off to Costa Rica, Timbuktu, or not be around. You just can't do that. It might be successful a while, but it's not going to be truly successful.
At what point did you realize there was a problem with Lynn?
There were little things. It was just, Well, she always came early to work. I mean, Judy came early to work. They'd run the vacuum cleaner and do all that. That was another thing, we used to say, but we never set up a schedule that, oh, you have to come in Mondays or the employees we had did that on their own. How fortunate were we? They cleaned the bathrooms. They ran the vacuum cleaner, they just did that. I didn't have to breathe down their neck. They saw things that had to be done and they did it. So we were, so fortunate in that respect. Around that time, in the late 80s, early 90s was when Phil was going through a lot of problems. He had a lot of intestinal problems and stomach problems, and he was in and out of the hospital and that. And so she'd come into work and she'd be upset. Of course, that was when your father used to enter everything by hand into the computer when we started to get completely computerized. So he'd be over there early morning time, and she'd come in then, and then she'd sit and talk about Phil and blah, 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 blah. But then we had a wedding or two within the people that worked for us, and an anniversary party, and we'd go to that, and we'd get there, and next thing you know, they'd be dancing together all night long. And there'd be Phil and I sitting at the table. Your father wasn't a lover of dancing, but made advantage of that. So it was that kind of stuff. And then there were chasing one another around and acting like teenagers, locking each other out of a room and laughing and giggling. And it's just, then we opened up a new part of the barn, and it was time to deliver furniture, and she became right-hand person to deliver all the furniture. It was the two of them all the time. She did her wonderful job. I have never said that about her. She was a wonderful employee. She and Lizzie Monahan, Judy Rutherford, had a lot of them. They knew what had to be done, and they did it. You didn't have to tell them. They wanted to do it, and they did it. And they were wonderful with customers. I would, and everybody knows I always sang her praises, Lizzie's, Judy's, all of their praises. Many people said that, you always were enthusiastic about your employees. So, it was just little stuff, just know. And having gone through it before, I was very attuned to a lot of that stuff. And then I got to the point, it was about 1994, I guess it was the year that, I was going to say 2000, actually I take that back, about 2002. It's when your father went off to the Masters with John. They had the tickets to go watch the practice round. And a lot of stuff had built up. Jennifer had discovered all this stuff with the phone bills. She was very upset. The girls from the barn came to Jennifer one day while we were in New York at a gift show and said, Jennifer, there's something going on here. This isn't right. Your father, blah, 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 blah. So Jennifer calls us in New York, and she's crying and crying, Mom, they're all asking me about Lynn and Dad and and this isn't right, and they want to know what they should do and how they should react. And I said, here, talk to your father about it. Oh, they're just wicked witches. They're just jealous. They're just jealous of her because she's such a wonderful employee. And so look at the Masters, and your father went off to the Masters, and a couple other things popped up, and he wasn't there for 2 or 3 days, and I went over one morning, and Lynn was flying around. I said, hey, Lynn, I said, are you doing anything special you're doing this morning? I said, well, I want to talk with you. I said, come over to the old house. So we went over to the old house, and I had the video camera set up, the recorder on it, which she never knew. I said, sit down. I said, some things I want to talk to you about. I said, who pays your phone bill, your cell phone bill? Does Phil pay your bill or do you pay it? Oh, I pay it. I said, oh, well, he doesn't see those phone calls that you make at all hours of the day and night, right? Didn't say anything. I said, no, that's not exactly right. I said, what's that all about? Never answered. I don't know, I threw up lots of other stuff along the way. And I said, if you think I'm an idiot, I don't know what's going on, I said, you are wrong. I want you to know there's nothing sexual involved here. I just adore him. He's such a wonderful man. He says, I said, I don't care if it's sexual or not. It is inappropriate. You are a married woman. He's a married man. He is your employer. You the employee. I, supposed to be your best friend. Obviously, I'm not. But I said, this can't go. I said, people in the barn are upset about it. It's causing havoc, and it's not worth it. And you may be the most wonderful thing since sliced bread, but you know, life will go on if you're not here. Now, I'm sure Frank won't think that's going to be, but I know it. I have worked with enough women and have worked in personnel long enough in my life to know. Women are the worst backbiters. They can kill one another. They'll tear a business down. And I am not going to have this business torn down because of you and your antics. I said, you are a flirt. Oh, I said, you're a flirt. You enjoy that. You like to bat those big blue eyes. And I said, you're an attractive lady and you can do it. And I said, Frank's a flirt too. So I said, here we have two flirts going to town and you're just feeding off of one another like pariah. And you'd love it. And that's fine and dandy. But we got a business we're running here, and I can't be boosting your ego day and night. And his either. And I said, I plan to tell him about this conversation. So don't think it's going to be I'm not saying anything. I plan to tell him. So what you plan to tell your husband, I don't know. I said, but one thing, and I know we had gone to Hawaii. This was like March or April when the Masters on, and we went to Hawaii like 2 months before that. And the day before we were going to Hawaii, it was Valentine's Day, and her birthday is like the 18th of February. And so I was all excited about we're going to Hawaii, and I took the car to go, and when I came back, there was a package, a little tiny thin package that was like slid alongside of the thing, and I picked it up, and it was all right, and I thought, oh, Frank got me a Valentine's present. And thing fell forward and fell out, and there was a card, and on the card it says, I love you. I really, 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 really do, like a billion times. Love. Well, I never got the card, and the package was there with her. And it was a gold cross pen with her initials on it. And I was so worked up. I was ready to charge in the barn because they were over having lunch, because she used to make lunch every day for them, So I calmed myself down and I thought, nope, I'm not going to do this. First of all, I want to go to Hawaii. I'm not ruining my trip to go to Hawaii. This little witch isn't going to do it, and I'm going. And I never said a word. We went off to Hawaii. We had a wonderful time. John and Carol, we did the whole thing. While I was over there, we went and took that helicopter ride over the top of the big volcano. And I had palpitations, and I was dizzy, and I was sad, and I never had this before. And then something else happened. Something else had happened before that. And so when I got back, I went to see the doctor. I said, oh, you have high blood pressure. And he said, you've never had this, Sally. This isn't you. He said, what's going on? Oh, well, Dr. King, there's a couple personal things going on here. And he said, well, I suggest you try to get them under control, or he said, you're going to have some more problems going here. So that day when I had her sit down, that was one of the things I brought up. I said, this came from the doctor. found out I had high blood pressure. I've never had I've low blood pressure. And I said, I'm not letting you give me a heart attack or whatever. So I said, I plan to tell you, if you don't knock it off and back it off, I will go to your husband and I will talk to him personally. And I said, I will also let the news out in the barn, and you know it won't take long for that to fly. So I said, it's on your lap. You started this, now you got to figure out what you're going to do about it. I said, I'm not in the wrong.
This is what year?
2002, 3. Yeah. No. She said, oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but there's nothing sexual involved with this. I said, oh, I don't want to hear that. That has nothing to do with it. There's a lot of other stuff that's here that's not right. And like I said, when we had the 40th anniversary party, and she came to me, and she came in and she said, I want you to know, I'm not coming because I don't want to upset your children. And I turned to her, and I said, you won't upset my children. My children will upset you.
What was that, a 07?
Well, I was
No.
married in 59, so
09?
40 years, whatever that was.
No, 09 was 50 years. So
Yeah,
it was 99.
99, I was 90.
99, okay.
Yeah. But, she wanted me to know she didn't want to upset my children. I said, you won't upset my children. I said, my children, could upset you more than you'd ever know. I said, Margaret will be first in line.
Well, and that might be why Margaret threw up on the way to the party.
Well, that's what I was saying. But, Margaret used to run around the barn, sometimes with a folder that had photos on it. And she used to run and say to the girls, where's Lynn? Where's Lynn? She would just do it.
What were the photos?
There were no photos.
Oh, it said photos.
It said photos,
Oh,
right.
it said photos.
And she used to run.
The
and say,
photo
"Where-"
folio.
Yeah. Where's Lynn? Is Lynn here? I'd like to see Lynn. Is Lynn?
So you videotaped that conversation.
I didn't video it. I have it audioed.
Oh, you audio.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I have that. Yep, I have it all.
You had the audio. Okay. But nothing changed.
No, she came to me about 4 or 5 days later, and when your father got home, the master's like that. He sat there and he's telling me all about the lamp master, and how was your week? My week was fine. I said, and this is what has happened, and this is why it's happened. Oh, she'll leave. That was his first thing. Oh, she'll leave. I said, she's never going to leave. I said, to be close to you is better. You don't understand women. They'll hang around as close to the man they love as what? They'll go through hell and high water. I said, she's never going. Oh, what will we do? Oh, she's going. I said, life's going to go on if she does leave. But I said, she's not leaving. She is not leaving. You can count on. And I was right. She never left. But she came to me, she said, well, I thought about it, but I've decided I'm going to stay here, and you'll have to do whatever you have to do. I said, you're right, I will. After that, though, some things did tone down. They weren't as open and whatever they did.
Hiding.
The girls learned to live with it a lot better at the barn.
But it didn't stop.
Well, no, there was still, the special little Valentine and Christmas time. She always got a long low, and she always got big buck. And we gave everybody a bonus at Christmas, but she always got the biggest bonus. Always got the biggest bonus. Always got the raise. Always. And she was good, and she deserved it. But all the others were just as good, too. And they could have got the same.
And at any point did he give you the impression that it was over or in the past or...
Oh, no. But something did happen, as you know from those videos, that little bit of stuff that you read on the iPad last night and what have you. Something happened around the time that we close the business. What it was, I don't know. I wasn't cognizant of it. I guess I just didn't want to know. I just wanted to close the business and get out and get away. But something happened. What it was, she got mad at him, didn't talk to him. Apparently they didn't have contact, blah, blah, blah. And then he saw her that one day, like 3 years later in Wegmans, and his heart was aflutter again. And he knew that love didn't die. And she was the only person that really made him feel loved and cared for. And all that stuff.
And of course, recently you uncovered these notes that he sent to her.
After he died.
Well,
And Margaret found them.
well, he sent them before he died, but
He sent them before he died. He sent them up. It was like the week or so before we actually moved, physically moved, when we sold the house on Evergreen Drive and we moved to the new house in Chalmers Terrace, when he apparently ran into her at Wegmans. And then all the texting started again and emails and all that stuff.
oh,
And then up until, well, 6 weeks before he died, he was that was when he said the big long thing, la 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 la. As far as I know of, he never texted her after that. And of course she sent me a simple note, but that's when she called me. He died in April, she called me in July. And, I've just been thinking of you, and I could tell she was crying. And I just can't imagine what you're going through and how you feel. And I didn't know, should I call, should I write, should I say something? And how are you? I said, I'm fine. Well, how are the kids? They're fine. It was like, I was shaking. It was just literally shaking. There were so many emotions going through me that I didn't know which one to tap into first. Do I scream and shout at this woman? Do I say every nasty thing I want to say? Do I do what? So I just, like that, and she kept trying to pull stuff from me. And then I realized she was trying to get the information about what happened at the end, because she didn't know what happened at the end. She wanted to know about him being in the hospital.
she could have closure.
She wanted that film. That was it. And then we got on to a certain point, and as I said, I was literally just shaking. And she said something about doing it, and I said, you got your hugs and kisses. And she says, well, what do you mean? I said, Lynn, let's not play this game anymore. It's getting old. I said, I have every text message that he sent or you sent. I said, I could push a button and send it off to your husband or your children I want. But I'd like to think I have a little more class than you. And I said, I do not understand how anyone could go and do what you have done. If I was supposed to be your good friend. Obviously, we weren't good friends for a long time, but it started out as that. I was the one that wanted you to come to work at the barn. And I said, he was your employer, you're married, he's married, all these other things, all the things, the people, your employee, the people you worked with all knew what was going on, and you still forged ahead and did your thing, whatever it was. And I said, I know, there's no sex involved. I said, but that is no reason. I said, you will never in all my life will you ever be able to explain it to me. And I said, how would you like your family to feel as my family has felt, that they've heard and the things they've heard about their father? Would you like your children to hear about their mother? Same thing? I said, I don't think so. So I said, as far as I'm concerned, this is over, this is done. Well, I know, I'm sorry you feel that way, and I guess I should have ended it. I said, do you think? Yes, I think you should have ended it, whether there was no sex involved or not. And she said, oh, well, she made some other comments, and I'm just yes or no. And then, as I said at the end, she said, Will you promise me when you move, you'll give me your new address so we can keep in touch? She still didn't get it. Patty perfect. Everything's wonderful. I've done it. And then at Christmas, they sent their Christmas letter, blah, 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 about the kids and everything. And then she wrote a little note. My phone call was not to upset you. I just wanted to know how you were doing. And I guess there's some things that you'll never be able to forgive or forget. How clever.
So tell me about the villages and how that all started.
Your father, we got talked about retiring. John and Carol were the ones. They wanted to go to Orlando. They wanted to move to Orlando. Come to Orlando. Of course, Suzanne was living in Orlando, and they thought that's where they were going to go because they'd be close to the grandkids. And so we went down to Disney at their timeshare and did that. Looked around. We went to Orange Tree, which the Wisneys own, and we could have got a real deal in there. But I just didn't like how it was so busy, and it was, Orange Tree is right across from Universal, and we looked a couple different other places too, and nothing hit us. And your father had heard about the villages, and he said to John and Carol, well, we're going to come with us. We're going to go up the road here. We're going to go up and stay overnight. I heard about this hokey place, and I want to see if it's as hokey as it seems to be. John, no, they were going with the grandchildren, fine. So we came up to the villages. We stayed overnight. The first night we saw it, and we went downtown to Spanish Springs, and this is kind of interesting. This is different, and rode around. I said, well, I think we have to come back again. This was like in the spring, I think it was. Then we have to come back again. So we came back in the fall. We were coming down again to meet up with John and Carol and play golf down in Orlando area. And so that time we came up and stayed 2 or 3 nights. And I kind of talked to a realtor a little bit. Got us to see a couple more things. And we really like this. This is neat. So they had this package where you stayed for 3 nights, and they gave you $400 of funny money that you could spend at all the restaurants and all this stuff. So we signed up for the package, and we came back in February of 06, I guess it was. Came down, put us up at a place, lined up to play golf. And Matt came down because, in the meantime, Matt had said, Rosemary, his old girlfriend, had bought a place in the villages. If Rosemary bought a place in the villages, you know it's got to be good because Rosemary checks everything out, inside, out, and back. Nothing gets by Rosemary. It's got to be good. He says, I'm going to go down. I'll stay with Rosemary. I'll meet you down there, and we'll do the deal. So at that time, prices were sky high, and you had to get into a lottery to get a chance to buy a house. So while we were there, the guy's taking us around, and our name came up. We were able to buy a house. We would tell them, how many bedrooms you want, about how much you wanted to spend, kind of the design you wanted, blah, blah, blah. The guy takes us to see this house, and it had all black appliances, and I said, I don't like black appliances. I can't visualize black appliances in Florida. Well, we don't take them out. We don't change it. You can take them out if you want, but. And I said, I have 3 hours to make up your mind. You want this house or not? I said, I can't buy a house like that. I'm not doing that. Your father says, we have a tea time. We're going out to play golf. More important thing. So we're out playing golf, and while we're playing golf, we get another phone call. Oh, your number came up again, blah, blah, blah. Well, we're playing golf. That's it. So that night we met up with Matt and this other couple that we knew from Northampton Country Club who had a house in the villages. And we're telling the story, and she said, well, why don't you look at a pre-owned home? There you don't expect to find everything you want. It'll be a little cheaper, and so forth. So the next day, we didn't have anything planned, and we went out trying to find pre-owned houses, and nothing really hit us, but there's just one house we kept trying to find, we couldn't find. So I said, let's forget about it. Let's have an early dinner. We got to get an early flight and going out. And as we were going out to go have an early dinner, we go past this house with a sale sign out. I go, oh, that's a cute little house. And your father says, oh, yeah, look, and it's right up in the golf course. It's really nice. Stops the car, goes, he's looking around, and he's going out in the back, and I'm reading the newspaper thing, and I go to Frank, this is this house we've been trying to find all day. This is the one. We've just been going the opposite direction on the street. I said, call that guy and ask him if he can come back yet tonight. Tell him we're going to leave tomorrow. Can we get to see it? So we call. Jack says, yeah, I can be there another hour or so. Can you be back? Yeah, we meet Jack. We come back, we pull up, and that's when we pulled up. And all of a sudden, that's when we saw the Moravian Star in the driveway. And I said to Poppy, my God, look what's on the driveway. The Moravian Star. And I'd been kind of like talking to Nana and Grandfather about, I think this is a real good idea about us moving to Florida. I think we need some kind of a sign or something. There's the Moravian Star. So we go inside and we meet up with this crazy Jack. And how do you like this house? You gotta think out of the box. And he's turning curtains, and this place had big, huge furniture and everything else, but we loved the view, and it was. And he said, "Got to think out of the box." I said, "Jack, I can think out of the box. I sell furniture. I can visualize." I said, "What do you think of this? What do you think?" I said, "It's good." I said, "But I have to tell you, that star out there in the driveway is really something." He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "That Moravian Star." I said, "That's the symbol of the town where we come from." And I said, "I've been praying to my mother-in-law and my father about should we make this move or not." And I said, "We pull up and there's this star there." He says, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a good Jewish boy." Well, we got to know he and his wife, got to be good friends. He sold us 2 houses. He's more Jewish than I am, but that was always our joke with it, And so we left there that night, and we went and had dinner, and we're talking about this house. And obviously, when I said, I said, "But if we buy this, you've got to start thinking about retiring. Don't you tell me what I have to do. I don't have to." Okay. I'm not going to talk any more about the house. So that was a very quiet dinner. That was a very quiet night. We got ourselves packed up. We left bright and early the next morning. We went to Orlando. We got on the plane. And as we're getting on the plane and we're buckling ourselves up, and I turned to him and I said, "You know what? If we don't buy that house, we're going to kick ourselves in the ass the rest of our lives. I know you want to move there. I want to move there." And I said, "It's a good deal." He said, "You really feel that way?" I said, "Yeah." Pulled his phone out, called Jack, made him an offer. We got to Charlotte, the phone rang, they accepted our offer. We got to Bethlehem, be with them, and that's how we bought the house on Madera Drive, where I'm going to live.
That was what year?
2007, February.
You, at that time, you were ready to,
I was ready.
You were ready.
And he was too, but he didn't
wasn't.
want to admit it.
Yeah.
He could go, he had to keep working, had to come up. Well, then we had it like for a year or so, part-time, and then that's when we closed the business down, sold the business out, and he went and had the knee replaced, and he got the blood clot in his knee, and that scared him. And the day after he had the blood clot, when I went into the hospital at Easton, and he said, "What would you think about us selling the business out and retiring?" And I said, "You know how I feel. I'm ready." He said, "I have the name of this guy on my desk. Go home, call him, and ask people to come and talk to us." So I called this guy who was out in Nevada, I don't know where it was. He said, "I can be there in 2 weeks." Came in the middle of a snowstorm. I remember he sat at the kitchen table. We told him what we had. We showed him all our figures, all this kind of stuff. He said, "I can have you out of there in 6 weeks." He charged a flat fee. He didn't do a percentage. "I'll charge you this much. I figure you'll get this much out of it. You may get more." Said, "You can't tell anything about anybody what you're going to do." He said, "I want to go over and I want to see the building and the business." We took him over. I told the girls he was an insurance assessor or something. Went all around, came back, did it. He ended up, we made 20% more than what he said he thought we'd make. He got his money. He was thrilled. We could have been out of there in 4 weeks. I mean, the sale was such a success. He had us call other vendors and said, "You got to get more merchandise in here. We got to sell it." And the guy wasn't selling it at 50% off. He was just marking stuff down at 20% off. But people were so They wanted a part of the Christmas warrant. They didn't want to let it go. And they were lining up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they were there at 10 o'clock at night. The guy never had a sale like that. He said he never saw people respond to a sale like they had. And he sold everything. He started at the top. He sold the shelving. He sold every display piece we had. He sold buckets. He sold mops. He sold waste paper cans. It all went. It was the best thing we ever did.
But you sold in 2007, 2008?
The merchandise.
We sold the merchandise. That's what we sold. Then we never sold the building and the property until 2010. Took
Okay.
that long to sell. Walgreens had a lease on it. They were going to buy it, but then, shit hit the fan. The economy went down,
Right.
and they held on it. They paid us for 2 years to hold on to that option to buy.
Yeah.
But then they backed out. Well, then we had to start all over again, and then we got the other Yahoo lady. Who,
I didn't know you got paid by Walgreens for 2
Mhm.
years.
yeah, that was a good deal. I mean,
Yeah,
none lose. I mean, they were paying us,
yeah.
wasn't a lot, but we're still making money in the deal.
So you left Evergreen for Madero in 2010?
Mhm.
Right.
That was hard in a way. I mean, your father was definitely ready. I was ready. I mean, we were going to a beautiful new house, all that, but we were still grandmother. That was always my thing.
Mm.
And I was the only child. I was going to leave my mother. She didn't want to come with us. He went and asked her 5 or 6 times. She would have done anything. She loved your father. She never turned against him. She never said anything nasty about him, ever. Which in some way hurt me. And I remember, I was with him the last time. He said, Bert, I have a big favor to ask you. Anything Frank wants. He said, won't you please come to Florida with Sally and I? He said, I know you don't want to live with us. I understand that, but we can find you a nice place to live. No, I am not going. I'll do anything. I will not go to Florida. I don't like Florida. I hate Florida. He said, but you haven't been there in 30 years. I don't care. I'm not going to Florida. So that was very, very hard for me to do. Because I felt like I was leaving the ship. And I did.
She never visited the villages, did she? No.
She would have loved it. We always laughed about how she'd be in the golf cart and sitting down at Town Square smoking her cigarette and talking to everybody. And why do you have that dumb sign on the back of your cart? And boy, that's a neat cart. And I mean, it would have been right up her alley.
That's true. That's true.
We could not have gotten her there. But you know what? Some ways it worked out because a year later, we came back to come for Alex's bas mitzvah. And the next morning we all met to have breakfast, and I got the phone call from Country Meadows saying, oh, we just took your mother to the hospital, blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh, it just so happens I'm in Philadelphia. We were coming up for her 95th birthday. We were going to celebrate her 95th birthday. And so we got up there and got to the hospital, and she was really pretty chipper. She was having problems breathing, and, oh, what are you doing here? I said, well, I was coming to surprise you for your birthday, and it got a little early, and heard you were here at the hospital, so I thought I'd come to see you, Oh, okay, Jennifer was with her, and they did a whole bunch of tests, and they came back with the tests, and the guy said, oh, we found this and that, and we can do this kind of test, and we can do this operation, and I said, you're not doing any more tests. You're not doing any more operation. This woman's almost 95. She'll be 95 in 2 more days. I want you to make her comfortable. I know she wants nothing done. He said, all right. So he went in to talk to her. And she said, okay. So what'd you find there? So he's telling her stuff and I'm standing at the end of the bed. The intern, I think it was the first day he was on the floor as an intern. And of course she's being typical her. And the guy is like, scared to death, Okay, so what's the act here? Tell me what's going on here, What's all this mumble jumble about, So he's telling her, and he says, now do you understand? And he said, what are you going to do? He said, I suggest, I can send you back to Country Meadows, and we'll have hospice come in. And he said, do you understand about hospice? And she, yeah. And he said something else, and he said, so what do you think? What do you want to do? He says, so she points at me. She says, she's the mouth. She'll make the decisions. And the guy's like, and I said, we've kind of talked about this. I think this is a good idea. Okay, so we go ahead, and they're getting her ready to send her back to Country Meadows, and and the ambulance guy comes, and they're getting her on the gurney, and they'd given her something. She was feeling no pain at this point, and she said something, we're heading back to Country Meadows. She says, can we stop on the way at a bar so we can have a drink and a cigarette? And the guy says, I don't think we can do that. She said, oh, come on. I'm going to be 95 in 2 days. Give an old lady a thrill. Oh, that was it. The guy was tucking her in, and she said, are you trying to feel me up? The guy says, I'm not doing that. He says, oh, come on, give an old lady a thrill. She says, I'm going to be 95 in 2 days. Can't we stop at the bar and have a cigarette? He says, no, we got to get straight to Country Meadows. He says, but once you get to Country Meadows, I don't care what you do. You can live it up, whatever. So I said, okay. I said, you behave yourself. Don't give these guys a hard time. I said, I'll be over to see you tomorrow morning. Kissed her goodbye. They took her off, and she's talking up a storm, going out in the gurney. They got her to Country Meadows. We went. It was late. We finally went someplace, the Applebee's or something, grabbed something to eat. We got back to the hotel room, and we no sooner walked in the room, and they called me, and they said, she died. They got her back in her bed at Country Meadows, and I think she heard hospice. She got to see me. She knew what it was, and she was out. And she went. She was in no pain. She had nothing. It was good. So that part, if anything to say it felt good, I felt good. I got there with it. She knew I was there. She knew that was it.
You always had said that you were deathly afraid of your mother.
How much?
Why?
She was a disciplinarian. You never wanted to disappoint her. She didn't, if she said you weren't going to do something, or you were going to get slapped, or you were, she didn't change her mind. You knew what she said was it. You were going to get it. She was a very strong German. Her father was, the way I understand, her father was the same way. I was scared to death of her father, but part of that was he had a very heavy German accent, and as a little kid it was hard to understand him, and so, he was rough. He was 85 at the time when I came around, but I was really connected with him. She was just very, yet I know she loved me dearly. She did a lot of nice things for me. We shared a lot of nice things. We had a good mother-daughter relationship.
You talked every day.
I did, just about. But yet she was a tough cookie. I just never wanted to cross her path. My father, he was mellow. He was a wonderful man. He loved everyone. Everyone loved him. And he'd give his left arm and his right arm and his left leg for you if he thought that was going to help you. He would put himself in debt if he thought he could help somebody do something. And he did a lot of things for people that they never even knew that he took care of. He paid people's hospital bills. He got them attorneys. He got them into college. His theory was, don't talk about what you can do, just go ahead and do it. Do it for people. Just do it. You don't have to tell anybody else about it. Just do what you know you should do. Do what you know is right. If you're going to lend somebody money, give it, don't ever expect it to come back. If it comes back, it's a gift. It doesn't matter. If you can't lend it, be honest and say, I can't do this for you right now. I'll do whatever else I can to help you. Right now, money I cannot give to you, but I'll help you in any other way. But he gave people lots of money. Never expected to get it back. He did get it back sometimes, but sometimes he didn't. But he truly felt that way, and he believed it, and he was right. And it's always been my theory, and I think I passed that on to your father. He, along the way, different people along the way that we gave money to, whatever, and I said, remember what Grandpa said. Don't expect to get this back. Unlike his father, gave money and never got it back, you never heard the end of it, one of those things. He was generous, but also he never left it go. That was one thing I learned out of him. My father was a gentle, sweet, smart, intelligent man. He loved me dearly, and I know that. I was his pride and joy. I was lucky. It was my mother's pride and joy, and that being the only child, I was lucky at that. I had many teachers that made the comment, you're an only child, but you're not a typical only child. You're not the spoiled only child. You've been disciplined. You've had direction. And some ways I think my mother went overboard in that because she was so bound and determined that I wasn't going to be the spoiled only child brat. So she disciplined over top. My father in some way was the buffer.
What do you mean by like discipline? Or if you didn't do what she told you to do,
I got spanked. You sat in the corner for who knows how long. You scrubbed the floor in that mansion. I scrubbed those stairs in that mansion many a time for something that she felt that I should have done or didn't do. God forbid you never would lie to her. Never. Don't ever do that with her. She was very rigid, but she'd been brought up that way. And she had been hurt in her life. She came 10 years behind everybody else. Her mother died when she was 13. She was left with her sister who never married and the other sister who married and had 2 kids and came home to keep the house for the father. So then they had her, my mother. And it was like she always felt she was a burden to everybody, that nobody really wanted her. They made place for her, but they didn't run her. And I remember she made one comment with my father having a stroke, and she says, no one ever really ever wanted me except your father. She's the only person who made me feel like I was loved. And he did. He loved her dearly. Kurt wanted it, Kurt got it. She didn't take advantage of it. She was a spendthrift. My father was the one that would spend. He went out and had custom-made suits and shirts, and he loved clothes. He was a clothes horse. Of course, part of his theory was he was a salesman, he had to make a good impression, and blah, blah, blah. That was part of it. My mother, on the other hand, had very good fashion sense, but she bought her clothes from Sears and Roebuck catalog and always wore a hat and a glove, but always very fashionable and what have you, but she didn't have to have a label or didn't have a name. That wasn't her. They had a wonderful marriage. They truly loved one another. Their night was when he was home, when he came home, put pajamas on, sit down. It used to be the radio, then it was the TV, and they had their drink, their beer, they'd sit, talk about their day. That was it. And they had a wonderful marriage. So I was fortunate in that. And I know they love me dearly. And they made a lot of things possible for me, and they were supported me and so forth. They loved your father. They thought he was just the best thing ever. And your father loved them. He loved grandfather. Grandfather was the father that he wanted to have. And when your father went kind of wicky-wacky, it just about killed grandfather. Just about killed him. And I remember eavesdropping on a conversation that he had with your father, and they were talking about me. He said, Buddy, they used to call each other Buddy. He said, think with your head, not with your heart. You've got 4 kids here. You've got a business you've just bought and started. You've got all this. No, what are you doing? And Nana, the same, Nana just about died. I mean, that was the other thing. I had the best ally in the world with Nana. She loved me more than she loved, I think, her own daughter. And she just sobbed. I remember when she went to your father and she said, you're my firstborn. I've loved you with everything I have. I can't believe you're doing this. Why are you doing this? She said if there was some way we could justify this, that this was a horrible marriage. She said, you've had a wonderful marriage. So what's happened here? You have wonderful children. What are you doing? I don't understand it. You're the last person in the world who would ever understand this about what's wrong.
Do you think any of that ever sank into him?
I don't know. I have no idea. The more I went on with, that all happened around, we were married 20 years, and after when I do not know. The longer I was with your father, the more, should I say, complex or the more confused to try to figure out what it was. I truly believe your father needed to be the center of attention. He needed to feel that he was your sole interest. Not that he didn't give up himself. He did a lot of nice things for a lot of people. I never say that about the man. And as I said, he never hit me. He never abused me. He wasn't nasty to me. He didn't embarrass me in public. He couldn't ever say that. But he was a very tormented person in some ways. He always kind of felt everybody else got the breaks and he didn't get the breaks. I remember when we went through that business of buying the barn, and so a couple of these different drug sales we knew were all buying properties in downtown Allentown and here and there, and that was before he started talking about buying the barn. But he was, so then we'd say, Joe Blow is doing it. Let's go look at this property, and we'd go see these rat-infested buildings in downtown Allentown. And he was all excited. This is only going to cost us $40,000. I said, Frank, this is a war zone down here. There's nothing here. Why would we? So-and-so bought, and they put apartments in it. And yeah, but they're slum landlords, This isn't going to work. You don't ever back me in anything. Well, I don't see it. It's not. And it was always like everybody had a better break than him. And one day, finally, after maybe we were in the barn 10 years, and something came up, and we didn't fight a lot. We really didn't fight a lot. Maybe we should have fought more, I don't know. But he went on about it was going on, and I said, for God's sakes, will you give it up? Don't you appreciate what you have? Don't you realize how many people are down the street there saying, boy, that Frank Swienckowski, he's got the world by the balls. He's got that property, that Christmas barn. He's got a great future ahead of him with that. He's a smart guy. He's got a pharmacy degree. He's got 4 great kids. He has a wife that loves him. Don't you realize what you have? And he just kind of stood there and looked at me. Never made a comment about it. Kind of walk away. In some ways, I think he turned his way around, but it long time. He was always felt, and a part of it was, I think he was always trying to impress upon his father. He was always trying to impress his father. Even after he moved to the villages, we'd be out in the hot tub some nights. He'd say, "Oh, I just wish Baka could see this. Oh, Bak, you ought to see this. I wish Bak, I'd love to hear what my father would have to say about this." Because Johnny was always the golden one. Johnny was always, always Johnny. And he never felt he quite made it on that score. And
Well-
yes, he was far successful. He was a very successful man. He didn't realize it.
Well, eventually he did realize he was.
I think he did probably the last 5 years of his life. Yes, I think he realized
Took him
it.
that long.
I really do. Yes. I think he came to peace with his inner what he wanted to do. He truly loved the villagers.
Yeah.
He was so happy to be there. He used to say to me daily, or we'd be going off meeting somebody for dinner, we'd drive in a golf cart, and he used to take my hand and say, "Thank you for coming. I'm so happy here. I hope you're half as happy as I am. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving up your beautiful house." And I said, "I have a beautiful house. I didn't